What's up, guys? Ruben here, bringing a new video to you. Trying something new. I'll be giving you a full book summary of the recent book that I read, No Hero, An Evolution of a Navy SEAL. So I hope you enjoy it. I'll be picking one thing I learned from each chapter. It'll be like a different kind of book summary. So yeah, here we go. Prologue of the book starts off with Mark Owen saying what a SEAL truly is. It's not just something that's what he says it's not a job, but a commitment, a lifelong commitment. Ooh, very windy. Lifelong commitment, challenging yourself and those around you to exist in a state of evolution, examining your decisions and learning from your mistakes. And I love that from the book. He explains how this is it's like a growing experience, and the point of the book in the prologue, he's telling you how Navy SEALs are always taught to pass on their knowledge to the people, younger generation. And with this book is what he was trying to accomplish. And from what I've read, I loved it. I read the book in 4 days. I took copious notes. And I decided to make a video on it because it's just that good. Because that little line that I gave you there is just good enough for life, relationships, your wealth, everything. It's like you can't just think of it like everything is just a job. Oh, this relationship is a job. No, it's a commitment that you make, that you chose to make, and that's how I feel. This prologue of the book really sets the tone for what it's going to be on. So we go into chapter 1 of the book, which is stated purpose. And in this, he tells you, set your goals higher than others, and know deep down that you will achieve many great things or die trying. And you don't want to be an old woman or man and regret not ever trying things. Regardless of what you say, and I'm pretty sure most of you watching this have read an article that says, what old people regret. There are always going to be things that we regret, no matter what. Whether that's decisions in life, you're always going to regret something. But know that you have a purpose, and how everything you do, what he was trying to say in this chapter is everything you do correlates with what your purpose is. Whether that's the relationship you're in, does that person believe in you? Does that person give you that clarity, or like when you want to talk to them, they put things in your head that help you rather than undermine you. You trust them. So I believe in this chapter where he talks about purpose, and he uses a lot of different stories, which I love. The stories are great, so if you really want to know the stories, I'm not going to get into them, you should read this book. It's definitely going to be an eye-opener. But let's go to chapter 2. Now on to chapter 2, confidence. Trust that your confidence will grow with the more experience you have under your belt. Also, be humble enough to know that you still have a lot to learn. But it's very paradoxical, isn't it? Because you have to act humble enough, saying, I don't know much. I am always a student first. That's how I see my life, as the student first. After that, I know that I am very confident in myself. Have a sort of irrational self-confidence. It makes me more attractive to people around me. Not only my family, friends, new friends, my girlfriend, just anyone, even strangers that see me on the street, they probably can see the confidence. And you want to make sure that you radiate that. It makes you attractive. It makes people want to know you. And I love that he says that, because most people know that Navy SEALs can be overly confident. There's a reason for that. The things they do, if you read these stories in this book, it's it's just mind-boggling. Like, wow, the training that you have to undergo, you couldn't understand why they have that sort of confidence. All right, now we're in chapter 3, fear, my favorite chapter. This whole chapter focuses on the phrase, your 3-foot world. Basically, I'm gonna tell the story is just, he was rock climbing, got really nervous, scared of heights. Navy SEAL scared of heights, right? They do have fears as well. They're not, superhuman. But he talked about a guy that was like training them to climb this rock, this big rock in Nevada, to focus on your 3-foot world. Instead of focusing on the fear and being afraid, you have to learn to focus on what you can control. So, you have to focus on what you can affect. Keep looking too far ahead or too far behind will not help you in any given situation. So yes, they always say, have a goal. You hear all these self-help gurus talking about have a goal in mind so you can, you have drive and motivation every day to do what you have to do. But you only look at the end goal. Put the goal there, know it's there, don't look at it. Instead, take the focus on the small goals, the things you can control. What's that next thing you have to do? Just like he had to do. All he had to do was put one hand on the next crevice of rock and pick up his foot. And that's all he focused on. And with that, he made it to the top successfully. And throughout the whole book, that premise is back. Like, he talks about it constantly, about taking the 3-foot world. So what can you focus on now that you can control, but you've been so far in your head of the long-term goal? What is the next thing you can do, right? That's what he's talking about in this chapter. On to chapter 4, stress. Great story in this, but we all deal with it, right? I like the analogy he uses, that he uses car crash analogy, which I didn't really like, because who wants to be in a car crash, right? So I instead came up with picking up a girl analogy. So, you just got out of a relationship, you decide to start going out, want to meet new girls. You have no knowledge. Sorry about that, I'm putting some stuff away. You have no knowledge on how to pick up girls. But what's the first thing you can do? Remember, focus on your 3-foot world. Yes, you might want to get laid, or your long-term goal is to have a girlfriend, but that's not what it is right now. So, you focus on, let me just say hi. You might get rejected a few times, but guess what? Every single rejection leads you closer to the next step. That stress will go away. At first, it's such stress. Oh my God, I gotta approach and fuck, this sucks. It's a stress. But eventually, from doing it so long, it will not be stressful. You'll actually enjoy it. So it's like, and every time you make a mistake and you stress over it, maybe you did get a girl, you had a great conversation with her, but something you said turned her off and made her go away. You never got her number, but she did like you for that little instance. Well, guess what? You learn from that experience. The next time you get in that same situation, it's as if your brain knows, like, wait, we've been here before. Let's not do what we did last time. Let's do this. You try something else. So the whole point of this chapter is about that. It's just making a mistake, and that's what he talked about in the car crash analogy. You start to remember the little details after each car crash. In this sense, you start to remember little details after each girl you talk to. So, on to the next chapter. Chapter 5. Great chapter for leaders, I'd say. Why? I'm going to just read off my book. Meet others with similar mindsets, where you share a common purpose. Don't get caught up in meaningless rivalry based on the color of your uniform, as he says. You may use different tools, but you all have the same mindset. Always put your team over the individual. Never accept anything but the best from everyone. And that's a great chapter for any managers out there, leaders of companies, because it's just, as it says, you have to trust each other. Know that each of you are there for one sole reason. You guys want to succeed in something, and that's why in corporate America, it's kind of like, a lot of people don't have purpose, right? Like we talked about in the last in the 2 chapters ago. There's no purpose. Sorry for the movement. I don't have my equipment today, but hope you're enjoying this nice beach weather. It's only like 70, very windy, but it's gorgeous out. But That's what this chapter is on, just mindset, and how every Navy SEAL has that mindset. I don't know if you've ever seen movies, but they like flow together. Like each of them know what the other is thinking. That's how good these guys are. Why? They work together much. They train together. Same thing with things in life. If you work together towards something, you train together, you communicate the right way, and you will grow to have the same mindset. And whether that's in relationships with your friends, everyone. So it's a great chapter for leaders. Chapter 6, trust. Now in this chapter, there was a funny thing he said. You know, obviously Navy SEALs have to trust each other. They go back to back. They have to kill their enemies, take out their enemies. They have to trust that the other guy is gonna have the other guy's back. And most of the time in our society today, we don't have a lot of trust. We don't trust a lot of people, right? A lot of people have trust issues, whether that's in relationships, most of the time relationships. With a business partner, they don't trust that they'll get something done. Or a coworker, you ask them to do something, you don't trust that they'll get it done. Or there's so much trust issues, but these guys have so much trust. And how they have that trust, they know that you have to trust this person. Do not come at them if someone comes up with an emotional outburst. That isn't going to help anyone. Like he says here. Instead, a calm demeanor, honest feedback, and clear communication are vital to building trust. And in this, that's how Navy SEALs build trust. That's why they're so successful in their missions. As he says, if you read the stories, they're amazing. They're amazing stories. I don't know if you're into it because obviously he's killing people, but if you could look over that, this is like their job, you will understand. But this is not too related, but there was a good quote he said here about the rules about bitching. A lot of us complain, right? He goes, everyone has the right to bitch about a mission or a job for 5 minutes. After those 5 minutes, you shut the fuck up and get back to work. So I think that's something we all can just tell ourselves every day. You only have 5 minutes to complain and bitch about anything in your life. After that, get shit done. Chapter 7 on communication. The hardest thing to do is honestly communicate with people, especially when you might be at fault. Push through that discomfort, and you'll be able to communicate more effectively. Get the ego out of it. Enjoy that you're giving someone honest feedback, and you're making them better. You're not growing, they're not growing. You guys are growing together. Understand that it's not all about you. It is tough and one of the hardest things to understand. That it's not all about you. It's about you and other people. Be as selfish as possible as I used to be, but just communicate more effectively. Next chapter. Chapter 8 is on relationships. I'm going to read off my book because I took a lot of notes on this. One of my other favorite chapters. So it says, as we said earlier, if you're too emotional, no one's going to listen. Get over that. When you go into something to negotiate or to communicate something with someone, whether that's a girlfriend, boyfriend, or a business partner, do not go in there emotional. Clear your head, meditate, and then go in there. So I would say if you own a business, or even if you're going for a girlfriend and boyfriend, right? You have to go with people that will pretty much in some way, shape or form ask themselves already, how do I become an asset to the team or to this individual? How do I become an asset to them? Another thing he says is the only way to succeed is being all in all the time. And that really hit me in the book. I had to actually stop reading it because I'm going through something like that right now, where I feel like I'm not all in. And I feel like if I'm not, I should just stop it completely and start something else and go for something else. So, if you feel like that about something, really start thinking about it. Use your critical thinking mind. And, where am I? Oh, this is going to be a long little paragraph. Doing things with one another, often trying new things, and setting boundaries will give you the unshakable confidence in one another. Trust is what allows you to succeed when things go awry. So imagine doing that as a SEAL. where like life and death is on point. We don't deal with that in our day-to-day basis, but most of the decisions we do, most of the decisions we make feels life or death. Like if I do this, I'm like, God, this is gonna suck. You know. So, on to the next chapter. Chapter 9, accountability. Succeeding is much easier when you have someone also holding you accountable. Not only do you need to be honest and communicate, but you have to listen. Otherwise, the message is lost. You always want someone in your professional life who's going to be honest and call you on bullshit. These are friends, mentors, and the asset in each other. Get a swim buddy in your life, as it says. That's what they call it in the Navy, your swim buddy. That person that you part of the team, it's just you and maybe you guys have to do a mission together solo. Think about that in terms of your life. Find your swim buddy. Next chapter 10, discomfort. Your life isn't always sunny and 72 degrees as it is today. Whether your objective is in waist-deep snow, middle of a shark-infested Indian Ocean, or up a goat trail in the highest peaks of Afghanistan, you shouldn't need comfort to be effective. Why? We always want to be comfortable. I feel like once you become uncomfortable, you get comfortable with being that way, your growth is going to be exponential. Because you got to think, you putting your mind in a place it's never been. That's why you become uncomfortable. Whether that's, saying hi to a stranger, or asking for that deal, or closing that sale on that person. It's discomforting. But once you get comfortable with that, you lose it, and then eventually life kind of gets boring if you're not becoming if you're not dealing with a little discomfort in your daily life, or doing something, making a decision where you're like, shit, this is gonna suck, but I know it's gonna help me in some shape or form. So get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Not only that, but you gotta remember one of the lines SEALs use. The only easy day was yesterday. Life doesn't get easier. It gets harder, and it's just how you deal with that. Your true self shows when you know, like, okay, life is gonna get harder. Well, guess what? That means I have to become tougher. It means getting comfortable with discomfort. Next chapter, chapter 11.